So over to Kathy for repotting a peace lily.
Okay. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's good. And so I did this mainly because my sister had a couple peace lilies and I did her first one. And then she asked me to do her second one. She had a lot of brown leaves around the bottom and we thought maybe it was pot bound. And so I know that they do like to be crowded a little bit. But the pot that she got was a little bit bigger. It was definitely bigger, but I went with it anyway. And the genus and species are Spathiphyllum wallacei, and it was named for Gustav Wallace, who's a German plant collector. And I think it was discovered late in the 19th century in Central America. So it is considered somewhat of a tropical plant. And actually, can you go back for 1 second? The spathe that it shows in the genus is the leaf, and it's a large white bract, and it's somewhat like a leaf. And then you have the spadix in the center, which is spike-like, and that is like a cream color, but it eventually will turn green as it ages. Okay. Then the second slide will tell you what I actually did. And I know February, March, usually springtime is the ideal time to repot, and a large plant can be divided. If it's wilting frequently, then it's probably a good idea to repot it. And the wilting comes from not having enough water in there. But it does like some crowding in the pot. The new pot should really be no bit more than 2 inches bigger on each side. If the roots are coming out of the bottom drainage holes, then it definitely needs to be repotted. And the soil should be moist before you repot. And what you do is try to pick it up and turn it on its side and either slide it out or tap it out of the old pot. I took a shovel around the edge just to loosen it away from the old pot and then tapped it out. And I'll show you the pictures at the very end here of my steps that I took. I teased the root ball gently and used my root rake and just kind of teased the roots, and it was pretty pot bound. And then I loosened the dirt around the roots also. And then you can cut some of those long roots off so that you're leaving a few good inches of roots though. And then I had the container and put some rocks down at the bottom just to give it some more drainage. You should have at least one drainage hole. And so that it's not sitting in water, because it would be prone to getting root rot then. And then I filled it up with potting mix. She had given me Miracle Grow potting mix, and I filled it about 1/3 full, put that plant after the roots were exposed and cut a little bit, put it in the center, and then I finished with the rest of the soil, leaving about 1 inch at the top of the pot. And you want to allow enough room at the top for watering so it's not spilling over. So you shouldn't put soil over the original plant line, and then just firm it gently with the fingers, because you want water to be able to disperse through there. You don't want the soil all compacted down. Then I watered lightly and then added more soil as I needed it. And filling the saucer, if you have a saucer under the pot, with pebbles will increase humidity also, which is a good thing for the plant. I read that you should withhold fertilizer for a couple months, and it can be fed every other month. Or if you're feeding more often, do about 1/4 of what you would normally feed. Then the history and the care. It's called a peace lily because those white flowers look like little white flags of peace, and it's considered the second most common house plant. It's a herbaceous perennial, sometimes considered a tropical perennial, but it's not really a true lily. It grows about 1 to 4 feet and does purify the air, so it's good for your home. It likes bright filtered light. You should never have it in direct sun, as the leaves will burn and they'll turn brown. And in low light, if the light is too low, it'll rarely bloom. And that was the nice thing about this one. It was blooming when I got it. And so I hope it holds out with the repotting. It doesn't like any cold drafts either. It will let you know if it's thirsty. So you try to water one day before it completely flops over, and all those leaves will flop over if you forget to water. But it springs back pretty quickly once you put water in there. It likes moist soil, but not soggy, which they talk a lot about. That you don't want the roots to get rotted in there from being too soggy. Water it 1 time a week. A smell or a discoloration means there's root rot. And then if the big, huge leaves, the big green leaves that are coming out behind those, that spath, then you could put it in the shower and just rinse it a little bit, and that will get the dust off the leaves. And so this was the beginning, and you can see the difference between the 2 pots. So that one was a little bit bigger, but it is blooming nicely. And I had already, in this picture, I had already cut off the brown leaves that were all around the bottom, and in the middle of the plant there were brown leaves also. So she just felt like she had a hard time watering it because it was so full of leaves. So, and then there's my pot that I just put rocks in at the bottom. I don't know what that red thing is now that I look at that. And then the potting mix is just Miracle Grow, and that's what we used with the last one, and she's been very happy with it. So, and then that was the root ball. Now it's a little bit the way I had to fit the picture, and it looks kind of oblong a little bit, but you can see those roots all wrapped around the bottom, and they're trying to go up into the upper part of the soil. And so it was a little bit longer than it's looking in that picture. And then that's it turned on its side after I had teased the roots out a little bit and removed some of the dirt in there so that it could fit right into the new pot. And the root rake is there, and then that's the final product. So I think that's everything that I had. And then my last one is just where I got my information from. I think that's everything that I really wanted to say, though, unless there's any questions. There are some, they're different varieties of them. Mauna Loa, Sensation, Domino are all hybrids of the peace lily. And they can be susceptible to mealy bugs and scale, so you have to watch out for that. And then I think everything else is covered that I really wanted to talk about.
Kathleen, did the spathes wilt or do anything having been transplanted at that time?
No, and I just did it yesterday though. So it hasn't been real long, but they're looking just the same as they did. Yeah.
Well, it looks lovely.
Thank
Yeah.
you.